Hey Copper Nerds, this is a really exciting package. This is coming to me from my friend Chris Collins, and this is a coin that I told him, if you ever sell it, I want to buy it. And the time has come. People who collect 1794s, they oftentimes collect for the provenance of the coin, not just for the coin itself. And that's what's going on here. This coin is technically a duplicate for me, and the other one that I have is technically in higher grade than this one. This is a Sheldon 55. A Sheldon 55. And the previous owner of this coin includes Dr. William Sheldon himself. So, let's take a look at this guy and the associated provenance. A little personal note for me. Get that out. All right. So, what we have here is a Sheldon 55 from the Exman collection, where it remained for like 40 years. With pedigree? Yeah, with pedigree. Here it is. Let's slide this out. I need to do a little research on the envelope, but Hines collection to Dr. Sheldon, near condition census. With the liner. This is a fragile artifact. I'm going to put it right back where it came from. And it's got the matching auction tag and lot number. So this is my first time seeing this coin, and I'm going to take some time to look at it. I'm going to do a little research, and then I'm going to put together the rest of this video. But yeah, you know, it's tough to see coins in the slabs, but you can see it's a nice coin. Got some damage on the face, which, you know, doesn't bother me. The overall coin is a nice color. It's in relatively high grade. Hines and Dr. Sheldon provenance, among others, which we'll go through. Yeah, and you know what I do with coins and slabs, right? I break them out. Not this time. This one is actually going to stay in. I've already got another S-55 that's technically in higher grade. That one holds the slot in my collection for an S-55. This one I'm holding on to for the Dr. Sheldon provenance, which is certainly the most significant name in 1794s, since every variety is named after the man. But there's a lot of controversy there as well, which we're going to discuss. I don't believe this one's stolen, but there's a chance that it is. Okay, we'll get back into it here soon. So this coin has a very important provenance. It's not a laundry list of provenance. It's only a handful of names, but the names of the previous owners of this coin are just very significant. First was Henry Hines, not the ketchup guy. Let's talk a little bit about Hines, and I'll show you his bio right now. So Hines was an attorney like me, and then he gave it up to go sell men's clothing or whatever. I understand what it's like to be a lawyer and then second guess that career decision and want to go do something else that's maybe a little less stressful and controversial. I don't know that I'm going to open a clothing company, but I've certainly thought about just getting a regular old job eventually to ride out my retirement years. So Hines collection was a really big deal. You saw that Hines broke a record for the highest price paid for a single coin there with that $17.99. And then at the end, you see that Hines sold his entire collection to Dr. Sheldon and to Homer Downing. Two very, very big names in numismatics and in 1794s. We're going to talk a lot more about Sheldon. But Downing, one of the things that's cool about a Downing coin, I don't have one yet, it's another one that's on my list of provenance that I need to acquire, is that Homer Downing would, with yellow paint, he would paint in the H and the last D in 100 on the edge lettering, which stood for his initials, Homer Downing. So I'm going to show you a photo of that right now. So Homer Downing and Dr. Sheldon were working on some research projects together. Sheldon was very well renowned in numismatics, but as a doctor, not at all. He was into some kind of controversial crackpot medical theories regarding criminality and body type, stuff like that. He was really run out of the medical community and then found his home in numismatics. And he did do a lot of good in numismatics. The 70-point grading scale is named after him. He wrote several books. Penny Whimsy is well known. This is a book where he actually goes through and identifies by Sheldon variety all of the early large cents from 1793 through 1814. And then he added some NCs later. More have been added since. Incidentally, he worked on this book with his close friend, Dorothy Paschal, who also owned this coin after Sheldon did. And he also worked on it with, Walter Breen, who also contributed a lot to numismatics. Breen's Encyclopedia is one that we reference often on this channel. It's this book right here. And Walter Breen and Dr. Sheldon, they got something in common. They are very tainted individuals. Walter Breen was a child molester who died in prison. And Dr. Sheldon was, according to many, as confirmed by some litigation, a thief of coins. He was known for switching out and stealing coins from various collections or estates that he was working on. There is a lot you can do to research this subject. The ANS was the victim of many of these thefts, I believe well over 100. ANS was the recipient of the Clapp collection, and that is like the finest large cent collection out there. And Dr. Sheldon would access the Clapp collection while working on his research for this book and its predecessor. And in doing so, he would switch out his lower grade coin for a nicer coin from the Clapp collection of the same variety. And that's not something that was caught up with until after he was dead. So the story goes that Sheldon and Downing were working on these projects, and while Sheldon was working on his variety attribution stuff, Downing was working on cataloging the finest known large cents out there, and he actually photographed the Clapp collection before Sheldon had switched out a bunch of coins. Ultimately, Sheldon sold that collection to Ted Naftzger, and Sheldon died, and Homer Downing died. But Homer Downing's photos came to light later, and the ANS was able to confirm that their coins ended up in Sheldon's collection, which ended up in Naftzger's collection, because they had the photographic proof from the Downing project where he had photographed the ANS Clapp collection. So crazy, crazy story there. Anyway, Downing and Sheldon bought the Hines collection, and this coin was among that collection, and it was part of the portion that went to Sheldon. This is Dr. Sheldon's envelope. These are very recognizable envelopes. So this one shows Hines collection to Dr. Sheldon. It's worth noting that since Sheldon and Downing bought the Hines collection, which was not photographed or plated and didn't go through an auction, that nobody really knew what was in the Hines collection. So when Sheldon would steal coins through switching, he would dummy up fake provenance, oftentimes Hines or Prosky Hines, to Sheldon is what those fake envelopes said. Now, this coin is not one of the ANS missing coins. Is it possible that this coin was a switched coin at some point that has fake Sheldon and Hines provenance on a legitimate Sheldon envelope? It's possible. I'm not worried about it. It's not likely. This coin is sold publicly through the Exman collection, and we're going to get to all that stuff later. But there's another version of this video that I have decided not to release publicly because it's very controversial and it really digs in to the Sheldon controversy. So instead of using clips from Dr. Kleberg's presentation through the ANS, he was a former curator for the ANS and for the Clapp collection, I'm going to link that video in the description. So if you want to see all of the drama surrounding Sheldon and Naftzger and the ANS and the Clapp collection, and it's a wild, like, hour and 20-minute presentation, check out the link. I'm not going to get into it in this video. I previewed my first version of this to a couple of senior folks, and they thought I was just asking for trouble. So I am reshooting this portion of the video just to sort of gloss over all of the fine details of the Sheldon and Naftzger and Downing, who was innocent, or at least assisted in the uncovering of the thefts. But Sheldon, Naftzger, and the Clapp collection at the ANS with Downing as sort of the hero of the story, even though all this stuff came out after Downing and Sheldon had both passed. So what we're going to start with is I'm going to show you the biography for Dr. Sheldon, who would be, you know, the next person in the chain of provenance following Hines. So give this one a read. It's long, and I'll try and leave you plenty of time to read the details. So that was Dr. Sheldon. Controversies aside, certainly the most significant name in early American copper coins. Having a coin with his provenance is an honor. It just is. So from Sheldon, the next curator of this coin was his good friend, Dorothy Paschal, who was a contributor to Penny Whimsy. Let's take a look at her bio. Okay, so Paschal had a really nice collection. She completed all of the Sheldon varieties and her collection was sold over time. She died in 1981. Sometime in the mid-70s, I believe it was. We'll take a look at it next. Eugene Exman ended up with this coin. Let's take a look at his bio. Well, there was kind of a lot going on there. Exman was personal friends with Sheldon, bought a lot of his Sheldon coins through Dorothy after they passed from Sheldon to her. And the Moore coins had been waxed. This is not Moore, of course. This is a Hines collection coin, as far as we know. This one, I don't think it, no, if it's been waxed, it's very light. I do have some coins that have been waxed heavily. This may very well have a little wax on it, but I wouldn't be able to tell for sure without handling it. So this was in Exman's collection from 1975 until 2015. Let's take a look at the Heritage Auction description from the 2015 Exman sale. So then in 2015, this coin would have gone to Scott Moore. I don't know much about Scott Moore. He doesn't have a bio that I can find anywhere, but I know that from Scott Moore, it went into Tom Deck's inventory at largesense.net, and that is where my friend Chris Collins purchased the coin, through Tom Deck. So when Chris got that coin, I was like, man, that is a fantastic acquisition, Chris. If you ever decide you're gonna sell it, I'd love to have a crack at it. Well, here recently, Chris said he was deciding he was gonna sell this one, and he wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to pick it up. So here it is, found its way to my collection. And Chris is quite the character. He was one of my first friends in numismatics. He has a long career serving our country, a lot of which is fairly confidential, but he did spend a lot of time as a boat captain. And Chris said I could share a couple of pictures of him when he was younger, doing some service to our country. And you'll enjoy these next couple of photos. They're pretty cool. And then to this point, the provenance stops with me. So I'm very excited to have this coin. I did confirm that this was not one of the reported stolen coins still being looked for by the ANS. As far as I know, this coin has a clean provenance and really did come from the Hines collection, to the best of my knowledge. Certainly, whenever you buy a Sheldon coin, there's some risk that it is a stolen coin. Although, those thefts were happening back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. So if this one was going to have turned up as stolen, that likely would have already occurred, and certainly would have occurred before or during the 2015 Exman collection sale, because that was a big sale. Well, thanks for joining me for this one. Again, there's plenty of controversy surrounding Dr. Sheldon, but having a coin of his provenance is, I think, it's just there's no one else quite like Dr. Sheldon when it comes to provenance. So having a Sheldon coin, that was quite the achievement, and it's something that I'm very proud to have in my collection. So feel free to hit me up in the comments. Definitely check out the link that I'm going to provide to Dr. Kleberg from the ANS. And, I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.